How's everybody doing? It's Paul from Magpie 24/7 and it's pissing down. It's the middle of a storm. I'm still out hard at work grafting, and to be fair, the weather pretty much matches my mood. Never easy being a Newcastle fan. We roll into another week of no certainty, no clarity, no information, no news out of the club. Obviously last week we had the information from Nufc. Since then Mike Ashley has teased the possibility of actually growing a set and communicating with the fan base. Sorry, the customers of Newcastle United. Hasn't bothered. Lee Charnley, obviously his balls are in his missus' pocket, so he can't say an absolute thing. So of course he stays as quiet as. And also very, very quiet are the purchasing side, Stavely, Rubens, etc. Haven't said a thing. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Who knows? My head has been twisted in that many knots over this entire saga. I do not know at all. I just pray we get some sort of information shortly, because it is literally so unfair. You know, it's been like mental torture. This has dragged out for months and months and months and months. We think we get some answers. We think we get a roadmap to make the deal work, and then nothing comes back. It is disgusting. If this fan base, the fans of Newcastle United, right, if other fans would treat the same, think about you know, a Liverpool or somebody like that, there would be hell to pay. You've only got to look at now the Man United fans kicking off about the Glazers. Goodness me, you know, they're absolutely shitting success in all reality. You know what I mean? They still are competitive, they still are signing players, they still are, you know, spending money on the training ground, got state-of-the-art training ground, the stadium is fantastic, etc, etc, etc. Yet they are whinging. Oh, my heart bleeds. It really does when you get to the later stages of European competitions. You're challenging for Champions Leagues, you're challenging for Premier Leagues, you're at the top of the Premier League, you're doing good stuff, you've got a team full of world-class superstars, and you're willing to spend even more. Give up! Honestly, man. As if Man United supporters don't generally piss you off anywhere with the whole attitude and this, that and the other. When they go around crying and shouting and screaming about the owners and stuff like that, they just lose a little bit more respect from other fan bases. They most certainly do. They want to try living with somebody like Mike Ashley, the most uninterested, the most selfish bastard you're ever likely to come across, who's watching our club crumble and can't even be asked to put a statement out. You know, we get shafted off the Premier League, always friends of friends of friends. We have to deal with literally the lowest percentage of human scum. So often, it's unbelievable, it really is. But don't worry, we've made a signing this week which I'm sure has picked up your spirits loads, and that's Jeff Hendricks. We've signed him on, of course, a free transfer, because we wouldn't like to spend money, would we? I mean, you know, looking at it, 28-year-old proven Premier League player, he's got international caps and experience. He's going to be a grafter, he's going to be a worker, you know, a la maybe Kieran Clark, hopefully somebody like that, who puts the hours in, who puts, you know, the blood, sweat and tears in. But he isn't somebody who's going to score you a load of goals, you know, a la a Frank Lampard or somebody. He's somebody who'll chip in with 1 or 2 goals per season, will cover in a variety of roles, and will offer leadership and that sort of thing. So it's, you know, it's slightly underwhelming, but at the same time, you know, Bruce highly regards him from his time through at Derby, at Burnley. Burnley didn't want to lose him. They wanted to keep him. He's decided to move on. He said all of the right things, as most players do when they join Newcastle, with regards to the supporters and the size of club, blah blah blah. The top and bottom of it is, unless we sign a striker or 2 and a left back and maybe a few other players, it is going to be another season of absolute attrition. We will be fighting and clawing and scraping our way up, competing in the Southampton Cup, and trying to get to 38 to 40 points, and everybody will say, what another fantastic season for Newcastle United, they've stayed in the Premier League. oh, whoopty chuffing doodah. You know, sometimes I'd go back to the Championship just purely, A, you get to win more often, and B, no, we might be able to get through an owners and directors test, because I'll tell you something, if you look at some of the calamity and chaos that has gone on down in the Football League with new owners coming in, they must just accept them in, because you can accept an owner 1 week and be going into administration the next. You know, these tests need looking at, they really, really do. But back onto the football side of it, and yeah, we do. We need reinforcement still. We haven't got a fucking left back at the club, which is unbelievable. You know, Man United tried complaining about things like this. We haven't had a left back. We have to borrow left backs. We have to go begging. Have you got a striker? Have you got a left back? Have you got this? Have you got that? Goodness me. We haven't got a left back at the club. We haven't got a fucking clue, it seems. And then Bruce comes out today on about strikers, and it's strikers I'm particularly annoyed and pissed off about, to be honest. He comes out and he says he's happy with what he's got. He'll only bring somebody in if, and I can't try saying this with a straight face, if they're better than what we've got. Fucking hell, it wouldn't take much. I could fucking rack up at Spenny or Bishop Auckland and get players who are better than what we fucking already got, man. 6 goals. And you saying that you might slightly be struggling to get better than what we've got. Don't make me fucking laugh. Andy Carroll, let's go through him. You know, it was a PR move, let's be honest, last season, when all the shit was kicking off about Rafa and Bruce coming in and all that, right? It was a PR manoeuvre. It was good to get it, you know, on the face of it, you think, oh, Andy Carroll, for nothing, great. Pay, what? You're only going to pay him as he plays? If you're Mike Ashley, that gives you an erection. Probably only got a small cock, but it probably does give him an erection. And it keeps him on. And now, I've seen people, well, he impacts and all this. He does, yeah, he can come on for 10 minutes and cause a bit of trouble in the box. I mean, he can't score, as he proved last season, but he can cause, you know, a bit of issues. He can create assists, but he's a striker at the end of the day who cannot score anymore. You know, he is at the end of his, you know, his Premier League career. His body's given up on him bit by bit. Now, you know, I'm not criticising Andy Carroll, he's in fantastic shape and stuff, but the rigours and demands of a Premier League season, I just don't think he's up to. You can't hang your hat on him that he's going to be there all the time. He is a good option to have off the bench if it's a draw, 80 minutes. If you're losing, you know, after 80 minutes, throw him on, and it can cause issues in the opposition box. But what I would say to that, you know, referees have his card marked. As soon as the ball goes near him, they blow the whistle constantly. And you know, is that what we're going to be? Hit and hope, hit Andy Carroll, hope it sticks, hope it drops to somebody. You know, it's so much for the years of sexy football and all this sort of thing. We're far from that. But yeah, we got Andy Carroll, so a striker who scored no goals last season. He did score, you know, no he didn't. He had a few assists. You know, I don't for a second think that he hasn't got his heart in it, because he has got his heart in it. He's clearly over the moon to be back at the club. He will finish this season. There's no way he can get another contract next season. I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. So that's Andy Carroll. You've got Mutu, who, fucking hell, has anybody seen Mutu? You know, I saw him in one Project Restart match, and then he's not to be seen of again. You know, I've been tempted to phone the police several times and report the lad missing. It's just like, he just had no chances. I don't know what the issue has been. Does he not train very well? Is he not a good team player? Because, you know, from what I've seen abroad, he has a finish in him. I don't think he's an out striker. I'll let Joe Linton, who we'll get on to. But yeah, you clearly don't trust him, Bruce. Or why wouldn't you have tried him out when we were safe last season to learn for this season? You don't rate him. He's just it's the easy option to stick with what you've got. Speaking of which, Joe Linton, a striker who scored, 2 goals last season. club record transfer, got the number 9, but he's never a number 9 in a month for Sundays. The weight of that shirt is far too much. He is a deep line attacking midfielder. He is a support striker, maybe an inside forward even. But he is certainly not a target man. He's certainly not somebody you put up there by yourself. And last season he had to flog a dead horse for most of the season, playing in a totally unfamiliar, unnatural role. He's a fantastic athlete, built fantastically well, but I don't think he's got the football intelligence that your great strikers have, and that nous to be able to get into the right places at the right times and apply the thingish and get the goals. He's not an absolute goal whore, and that's what you want. You know, you think of some of the great strikers that we've had, and all they cared about, they were selfish as hell to get strikers, to get goals. These strikers, you know, the Shearers of the world, the Ferdinands of the world, fuck me, even the Craig Bellamy's of the world, you know. He just doesn't seem to have it in him, you know, and is a defender and a defensive minded manager the person to instill it in a Brazilian. You'd think a Brazilian at that age with that money would be pushing into the international team and all this sort of thing, but I personally am of the belief that he needs to play alongside Mickey and alongside ASM in a three behind a main striker to see if we can get any sort of tune out of that fiddle. Moving on, Dwight Gale, Dwight Tours. You know, I've been critical of him, and a lot of people say you're harsh, Paul, you're harsh, and yes I am, because I demand the highest standards for Newcastle United. I'm not going to accept mediocre shit, you know, and I'm not saying he's the worst striker in the world. He's the best striker that we've got, I'll tell you that, but you know, Dwight Gale is a striker who needs 5 chances to score 1 goal. You know, he's not the lethal striker at Premier League level, may I add. You know, he had a fantastic time in the Championship for us, but the writing was on the wall when we loaned him out to West Brom. You know, I do think he had his head turned then. I think he got pretty miffed about the entire situation. Apologies about the noise, it is pissing down. But at the end of the day, you know, he finished the season with 4 goals or something. You know, he's looked decent when he's been fit. From what I've spoken to people up at the training ground, they say a lot of time when he says he's injured and he's got complaints and stiffness and aches and all this sort of thing, there's nothing there on any medical scan that's ever been done. A lot of it is in his head, a lot of it is psychological with him, and he misses far too many games for you to be the only striker who looks like he could score in a month for Sundays. The rest of them don't look like they could score in a bloody brothel, never mind out else. So Dwight Gale, I think, is a good squad option, I really do. He, to me, should be the person who's on the bench coming off if you're looking for a goal, this sort of thing, and being able to rotate him in for various different opposition, which he'll do good at, you know, and he will score against the lower end teams. But he's not the answer for me. He's not the long-term answer. So that tells me that whatever powder you've kept dry, yeah, and he keeps saying it's not as bad as the fans keep thinking, it's not as bad as the fans keep thinking. Well, sign some fucking players, splash some cash, you useless bastard. It's really starting to piss me off, the rhetoric, because it's like Pardew excuse bingo all over again. Stop talking bullshit and just get some players in. The league games are going to start in 3 weeks' time. We haven't got a decent striker, we have no left back, yet there's players out there left, right and centre. You know, there's a Trippier who could come in maybe at the right side of the fence. Left back Williams is available for free, bring him in. You know, yes, he's not going to be fit for a month or 2, but goodness me, give us something to hang our hat on. Up front, Callum Wilson's available, so don't dare say that there isn't quality there to improve on what we've already got. The lad from Brentford would be a step up again to what we've had, although he is improving in the Premier League. Goodness me, you know, there's issues over in Spain with the likes of Valencia. There's players to pick up left, right and centre. If you can go out there and if you've got a pair of balls big enough to go up to Charlie and Ashley and say, you know what, if we don't sign the striker, lads, we're going to struggle to stay in this league. We're not going to be able to compete in the Southampton Cup. We're going to get lower than 38 points, and we're probably going to get relegated, because goals win games. Goals change games. You can't keep relying on the defence all the time. You can't keep thinking, oh, Kieran Clark will play him up top. You cannot keep playing for set pieces and stuff. And if we are serious about keeping the likes of ASM and Miggy, we need to stop being so fucking cheap when we're a Premier League team. You know, usually they say, oh, the coronavirus has wrecked our finances, right? And no doubt, yeah, it's wrecked my finances. It's wrecked everybody's finances and livelihoods. They are still paid a heck of a lot of money, and so is Steve Bruce relative to everybody else, to go out there and deliver. They've still got money available. It is just excuse Newcastle United, and you know, I'm not having it. There is options out there. We can go out there. There is deals to be done. You know, other clubs are managing it, so why can't we manage it? It bores my piss, the amount of excuses that this regime, and to be fair, you know, Bruce, I've given him a lot of credit since coming in. He wasn't my choice, he was the choice. I've given him credit, I've given him time, I've given him opportunities, but the longer that he is here, he is coming out with the more Pardew-esque politics lines and bullshit. You know, and it's just excuses. I'm not looking for excuses, I'm looking for solutions. Everybody else is managing to sign players, we're not. Everybody else is spending money, we're not. Everybody else is making deals, we're not. You know, we're always looking for loans. We're going, oh, we need a 20-goal a season striker. Let's don our hat. Can we have one, please, Chelsea? Can we have one, Liverpool? Can we have a lad out of your reserve team who was in the Championship last season? We're done on our cap. Can you pay all the wages as well? Are you a fucking joke? We're a Premier League, you know, side. We're a traditional powerhouse in this league, in that we're a historical name. I'm not saying we're going to sit there and win the Premier League or even win a fucking cup, because that would be asking too much. But goodness me, is it too much to ask for just to go out there and sign a fucking striker? And if you don't rate Amutu, sell the lad, let him go on elsewhere, recoup some money in and reinvest that. It's just doing my head in. Major League. The takeover fiasco drags on and on and on. Bruce comes out and says all the right things. He tries to play toe the line and this, that and the other. But it's no good. I'm telling you now, mark my words, if this season starts poorly and we're struggling to score goals and we're struggling to get wins, and you know, we're a few matches in, the pressure will be like a red hot poker up Bruce's ass. It will be immeasurable in the amount of pain from the fan base, because the fans, after another summer of mental torture, are not ready to put up with shit performances, shit results, shit on the goal scorer in front. They're not willing to do that. Every fan that I've spoken to, and I speak to lots on the day-to-day rounds and stuff, they've had enough. Many aren't even, you know, take coronavirus out of it. They're like, I don't really think I'm going to be going back to the stadium. I can't be bothered for another season of austerity under Mike Ashley. And before anyone says, well, his finances have been stretched as well, sports director. A, I don't give a shit, to be fair. And B, put this into perspective. The Liverpool owners have less net wealth than Mike Ashley. Let that one just simmer in for a bit. Look what they've done, look what he has done. Where Liverpool have got progressively better season upon season upon season, and they invest on, you know, a few quality players all of the time, and they're constantly looking up and they're constantly trying to think outside the box. We played safe with 1990s managers, with a stadium that's crumbling, with facilities that are a joke to the fact where we've got to go through a university campus because they're better than the ones that we've got as a Premier League team. It's a fucking joke. It's a fucking joke. You know, Mike Ashley is one of the most wealthiest owners in the league, yet he can't be bothered. Burnley's owners, for example, who consistently finish above us, never got £2 to rub together. Doesn't stop them. Of course it doesn't. dinosaur thinking, dinosaur management, dinosaur owners, dinosaur MD. It's embarrassing. You know, we've gone from Pochettino and Mbappe, you know, which we said at the time was absolutely stupid and ridiculous at the beginning of the season, to a season of, you know, Andy Carroll and Dwight Gale battling out to lead the line alongside Steve Bruce and the rest of his Steve Castle set up on his coaching team. You know, fucking Barney the dinosaur wants his fucking coaching team back for his football team. Give me a fucking break, honestly, man. It boils my piss. I mean, absolute chronic. It is such a poor situation to be in. And then, like I say, Bruce coming out today and towing the old party line and trying to pretend that everything's rosy. I'm happy with the strikers we've got here. I'll only bring somebody in if it's better. Get that man a pair of fucking spectacles. As Rafa left Eddie in his drawer, get him on, because everybody in the mother can see where our issues lie. We're absolutely and utterly we've got no lead in our steel, shall we say. We're absolutely a joke. Limp. Just shite. You know, it's a bad situation when you're sitting there thinking, oh, hey, them were the days when we had like Joselu, or them were the days when we had Kevin Gallagher up front, or those are the days. Oh, I'd Snap and Andreas Anderson back now. You know, it's a sad state of affairs. We've had some fantastic players, you know, strikers, Ishiri, your Ferdinands. We've been spoiled for choices. Your Asprias, Ketspire. I'd stump your arm off for Ketspire back in his prime, back now. You know, a bit of unpredictability. You'd even take Shola. You'd even take Shola now back in his prime. I'm telling you, you would. Loire, anyone. I mean, I think with that terrible up front, I'd even be tempted to play an ASM up top. I really would, because what have we got to lose? At least he's energetic. At least he's a loose wire. At least he might make something happen. Oh God, I love ASM, but obviously he's no striker, is he? He's no striker, but we need some pace, we need some purpose up top. We play today, first pre-season game of the season. No doubt Jacob Murphy and them will be playing, and he'll be like, oh, it's like a new signing. Because he's just up Steve Bruce's avenue. You know, he's a championship manager, and he's happy with these championship style players, top end championship style players, very, very low end Premier League players, as we go towards the objective of finishing fourth bottom again, because of course that is what every football fan in the world wants to happen for their football club. We just want to stay above the relegation line. That's it. No more. No, we don't want to have a nosebleed, us Newcastle supporters. We don't want to be drinking out of cups. Oh no, cups have to be fucking sneered at. That's not a sign of success. Nah. League Cup, oh, fob it off, man. Get the youngsters in. Get knocked out of this fucking League Cup. It's shit. You know, it's a sad situation. It is, everybody. Bruce as well, just before I finish, coming out and saying, I really hope that we start like we did when Project Restart happened. What's that? The fantastic form that we're on. 2 wins in, 10 games? Oh, give up, man, Bruce. Give your head a fucking shake. That form is shit. That form is relegation style. Do not want to be banging on to the players saying that you want to repeat that level of shite. Because yes, we were good against Sheffield United, but from the people I've spoken to, they've never seen Sheffield United play as bad. No, they gifted us the opening goal. You know, we beat Bournemouth, we beat them comprehensively, yes, but a team who was absolutely already 1 foot in the Championship. Let's be honest. at that stage because of the injuries and stuff that they had throughout the season. No, we need a lot better than Project Restart if we'd stand any chance at all. We've got to have a positive start because we know there's periods in that season where there's some really difficult clubs and fixtures together. And if we don't get some points early on the board really quickly, to be fair, Bruce is going to be coming under an almighty amount of pressure from the fan base. Anyway, let me know what you think about the signing. Let me know about the rudderless ship that is Newcastle United. Will we sign a striker? Should we sign a striker? Or are you with Bruce and think that we're okay? And we've got plenty of goals in this team. Because, of course, we've replaced Rondon and Perez's goals, as you can see. We're shitting goals from every angle. We really are. Anyway, I've gone on a bit, but the podcast number 8 is out today, second part of the season review. We've also done another one last night of just over, I think, an hour and a quarter, actually, on about a whole host of things ready for the new season. Yeah, hopefully we'll link to players. Hopefully we sign some players. Bruce is talking about another 2 players or so. Nah, that don't pick the scab off the top. It really doesn't. Fucking hell. If he thinks we only need 2 players in, then he's absolutely head's gone, isn't he? I can't see. I think we need 4 or 5 to bed this squad out, and I think a few need to go. And if some more go, then we can bring in another 1 or 2 as well, because it is that bad. Hopefully Newcastle win today to improve the spirits, although it is just against Crewe, so I will tamper that just a little bit. Yeah, hope you're a-okay and staying well, and keep dry in this absolute storm that we're having today at the moment. Anyway, keep safe, keep it tuned, and I'll speak to you later.